Hello, and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
How are you, Rob?
Pretty good, bud. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It was great to see you this week.
Yeah, huh? What a surprise for that class.
Yeah,
They had no idea how lucky they were.
True.
We did a school this week in New Jersey, a 3-day school, and Mr. Highlander showed up to actually do some demos, do some presentations, interrupt me a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry about that. You know I can't help myself.
You can't help it. It's, you know what though? You can tell the students can see the passion when you're doing it, you know?
It's weird because I got there and your class was already started, and right away when I sat down, I'm listening to you, man, and yeah, I couldn't get the smile off my face, man. You do such a good job. I love watching you do a presentation. You sure as hell didn't need me to say anything, but you know I can't help. I appreciate you giving me a chance to do those.
Well, listen, I know where you live now. I know that you live in the land of corporate stooges. You don't get to do things like that, you know? You don't get to be down, you know, being a man of the people, which you really are. And so, yeah, I was glad that you jumped in there. But I did have a question about your tiny balls. What was up with that? Why did you go with the?
Yeah, I don't usually talk about them, but I thought I felt comfortable enough with the guys. Yeah, and I didn't know if you were going to mention it or not, and I didn't want to step on your toes.
Right.
But when you show people, especially when you had some new guys there who hadn't seen them before, I think they're always impressed by that, because when you bring out those magnets and roll them out on the floor, those little ball magnets, earth magnets, and they find every single nail on the job. What the point was to make sure that they stay on nailing schedule when doing a nail glue assist.
Okay, all right, because yeah, you were just so excited about it. I think some of us lost track what you were doing. That's why we're
Well, I enjoyed it. Hey, listen, last time we're gonna talk about hiring people today, but before we do, on our last podcast episode, we brought up tattoos, and I didn't finish my point about tattoos because I said I don't have any, you don't have any, and but I didn't want to leave the impression that like I was against them or whatever. I was or too good to have one. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I do want to finish that topic. In the 1800s with tattoos, it was only person that got tattoos back then were like deviants and like people, you know, that were in jail and stuff like that. And it's completely changed now. And there's a lot of reasons people get tattoos. And, you know, some of it is for, personal expression and stuff like that. But a lot of it's to honor someone who's passed away, or their mom, or a baby, or military guys are getting them. But, and there was a time in my life, when would you think that you really started seeing the tattoo really come on strong? Is that in the 80s? Was that the 80s, or would you say that was the 90s or even the early 2000s?
I think it was the 90s. I think it was around grunge rock when grunge hit.
It's funny. I was thinking the same thing.
Were you?
Yeah.
Because I know you hate my music. You don't think that I listen to any new music or anything, but I think the tattoos came around the same time the grunge did.
And what would your favorite grunge band be?
I have
so many,
no
right?
idea. Yeah, so many.
How do you really pick one?
Black Crowes, are they a grunge?
I don't know if you could say they're they came out of that grunge a little bit. I'd say that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So I'd go with the Black Crowes.
Okay.
They're probably not grunge, but maybe on the cusp of the.
On one of the Black Crowes albums, you'll see they thank on their artwork on the albums when it was a regular not a cassette or whatever, or not a CD, but the album cover. They thank my sister-in-law, Ann O'Toole.
No kidding.
Yeah. she always booked them every time she got a chance in the venues in San Francisco, and yeah, so that was pretty cool. Yep.
Huh.
You know,
Cool.
so
So did you wrap up your tattoo thing, or
no, the only thing I was gonna say, like, there was a time in my life when I used to like, nah, man, I'm tattooed. Why would you do that? And now, who the hell am I, man? It's a form of a personal expression, and some of them I really like. I mean, some of them are very, very creative. My favorite tattoo I've ever seen was on. Do you know who Shooter Jennings is?
no?
Okay, yeah. Why would
Oh,
you?
wait a minute. Shooter Jennings, the
Yeah,
country western guy?
yeah.
Yes.
He's not really a country western guy. Funny that you would say country western. Who even says country western anymore?
Is this how it's going to be for the next hour
No,
and a half?
no,
Huh?
not at all.
You
I just
know, it's Friday. I've had a long.
crack me up. But he's for
We
anybody
have
that doesn't.
both music here, country and western.
Yes, yes. For anybody that doesn't know him, you probably know Waylon Jennings if you know anything about country at all. Who was a pioneer in outlaw country. But Shooter is his son. He actually has his own band, and he's a producer and has his own music, and he has a show on XM radio. But he had the coolest tattoo I've ever seen. On the inside of his forearm, it was a 6-shooter. You know, his name is Shooter Jennings, and it was a really, I mean, intricate, really cool. I thought that's pretty cool, man. If I was talking to Graham Blue, one of our territory managers, and I told him, I was kind of half joking with him. I said, I'm thinking about getting a tattoo, and he starts laughing. And he said, what are you going to get? I told him on the inside of my forearm right here, I was going to get Lost Highway. And he starts laughing even more. He goes, dude, don't do that to yourself. But Lost Highway is Hank Williams' my favorite all-time song, country song. So anyhow, but my wife said the same thing. What are you doing?
I thought your favorite country song was Echo Mountain.
It was short-lived. No, that's not my favorite country song. That is a bluegrass song, Echo Mountain. But and still not my favorite, but just one I like.
Okay.
All right, Rob.
Now, if you were going to pick somebody in my family that has a tattoo, who would it be?
I'd say it was Claire.
Who?
I'm sorry.
Claire?
Yeah. I listen.
Well, you've known me for about 20 years.
Yeah.
You don't know a thing about me. You don't know anything, do you?
I'm so sorry.
Claire?
I just don't relate to kids very much. I don't have any kids. I thought you had a daughter named Claire.
Emily.
Why don't you come clean with the rest of your kids?
Emily, Rebecca, Robert, Katie.
You have that many kids?
Kyle, Brian. Well, I have in-law kids now too.
Okay,
so they're all my kids.
Okay.
They're all my kids. Okay.
Well, I don't know who would have a tattoo of your kids.
Pauline.
Pauline has a tattoo?
Pauline has a tattoo.
See how surprised I act?
You better have acted surprised.
Yes. And where
Pauline has a tattoo. She could probably hear the podcast right now. I'm surprised she's not flying in here. She has a tattoo.
And what is the tattoo? And when did she get it?
It's on the small of her back. It's my head, just my face with eagle's wings.
Nice. Yeah. I could get that on the small of my back.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
No,
Very
that's
nice.
not the tattoo. That's the one I wanted her to get.
Okay.
It's funny because you said when some people die, they'll get a tattoo. She got a tattoo on the top of her foot of her brother's initials who had passed away. You know, that's actually how I met her. I played hockey with him. And, you know, we were really good friends and, you know, ended up meeting Pauline through. Anyways, he passed away from cancer and that's what she did. She got his initials tattooed on her. And she said if she knew how painful it was going to be, she probably would have done something else to.
Yeah.
Because I guess tattoos will hurt more depending on where you get them. Like they say, you know, top of your hand or I don't know. But they say the top of the foot is a real painful place too.
I feel like you're not fully committed if you get a tattoo on your foot. Like, you know what I mean?
And she wears sneakers and shoes and stuff. You never really see
That's what I mean.
You know? Yeah.
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 Hmm.
I couldn't believe it. I
Wow, that's very nice, actually.
went out of town and I came home and she's like, well, I did. I went and got the tattoo. And she was talking about it. Not in a million years did I think she was going to get a tattoo.
And what's his initials?
JFB, John Fitzgerald Blevins.
And you sure that's what it stands for?
There was no Highlander. There was no
wasn't a
red-haired guys, right? No.
Wasn't a wild night thing when you were young?
No.
Okay.
Geez, I hope not. I hope
All
not.
right.
You know,
Okay.
one time the kids, I was sitting in the kitchen one time and all I heard in the living room was Pauline say, you got to ask your father about that. So 2 of the kids walked in the kitchen, Emily and Robert. They come into the kitchen and Emily's like the spokesperson. And she said, you know, I'm 17 and Robert's 15. We're old enough. We want to get tattoos. And Ma said, it's up to you. I said, okay, no problem. Yeah, you can get them. And they're, you know, she's looking at me. She goes, really? I go, yeah. I said, but I get to pick them out. And Emily's like, Now right away, Robert knew he won. He walked out.
Yeah.
But Emily stuck it out, you know. Emily's there. Well, what do you mean? You know, like I picked 3 tattoos and you pick one. I go, no. I'll just pick out your tattoo. I'll go to the tattoo parlor with you and I will pick it out. And she's going around and around with this, not really wrapping her head around what's going on. And Bum walks back into the kitchen. He goes, don't you get it? I'm going to get a pink kitty and you're going to get, you know, a Navy anchor.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, no, you were going to get, I love daddy on your arm. And maybe a spider or something.
I'll give you 30 seconds to make up your mind. If you had to get one tattoo, that's just all there is to it. You got to get one tattoo and you got 30 seconds to make up your mind. What is that going to be?
Oh, this is going to sound, oh my God, I'm going to get destroyed for this one. The first thing that came to my, in my brain was Pauline's head.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was the first thing that popped in my head. So I got to go with that one, I guess.
That's nice. So there you go. On your stomach? Or your shoulder?
Yeah, I think around my arm.
Your shoulder big enough for a tattoo? I guess.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't want to go there about tattoos, but.
Well, I didn't want to leave us hanging because I didn't want to sound like I sounded negative about tattoos. I'm not. And who the hell am I anyhow? You know what I mean?
Yeah, who the hell are you to be passing out this kind?
I mean, judging on whether you're not.
Man, once they put national in front of your title, huh?
See how sensitive I am?
Yeah. National. Now you're pontificating all over the place.
All right.
I just noticed that thing in the background.
My background?
It says national. When I said that, I looked up and there it says national sales manager right there.
You know they put up a green screen though, right? And nobody sees that except for you. Okay, Rob, we're going to talk about hiring people, and I have a theory that I think is genius. And I think the way that we hire people is all wrong. And there's a lot of studies that go into when you hire somebody, like what questions do you ask? And if you're going to hire a guy for a sales role, for instance, you might ask, tell us about one of your things that you're proud of that you've done in the past, how you grew your business, blah, blah, blah. Or, there's like a 30 or 40, if you Google it, there's hundreds of questions on what questions they ask when you're going to interview somebody. And you're trying to get a read on this person and find out, is this a good candidate to hire? And this test that I've came up with, I think could be used for any industry at any time, even the flooring industry. And here's the test. All right, here's the only interview. There's no interview questions. Okay. There's just one thing you have to do. You book a flight with this person, okay? And you give them a suitcase. And the flight's only like, let's say they're in Boise, the flight's just to Portland and back. It's an hour and a half each way. It doesn't matter where you live, just a short flight anywhere, okay? You book a flight, you get on a plane with them. You give them a suitcase. The suitcase you give them is too big for the overhead carry place. And you see what they do to handle that. There's your interview. Because I've been on enough planes now, I can tell you how it happens. You got the person that'll walk in, they'll try to put the suitcase up. Any struggle, any problems whatsoever is not going to fit, they leave it and they walk to their seat and they leave it for the airline stewardess. Okay, that's one behavioral trait. Another one is
You gonna hire that guy?
no. He shoved off the responsibility to somebody else.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You got the next guy that will completely hold up the line. I mean, like, there's not 50 people behind him, and he's, taking his time and doing different angles and whatever, and trying to get that thing and try to shove it in there, and like disregard for anybody that's behind him. Ask me if I'm going to hire that guy.
You gonna hire that guy? I was gonna. I thought
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were done.
No, I'm looking at you. That pretty much means I'm done. I stopped talking and I'm staring at you, waiting for a reaction.
I don't need this. I
No.
really don't. Okay.
So
you're gonna hire him?
No.
All
Okay.
right.
So you got the next guy, and we've all seen all these guys. And the next guy that gets mad and he pouts about it, right? He's trying to shove it in there, and he's mad about it. You can tell that he's gotten angered real quick. The stress is getting to him. He knows he's holding up the line, and he doesn't handle it very well. There's that guy.
How about him? You gonna hire that guy?
No, he can't handle the pressure, right? Then you have the other guy that comes in and he rearranges furniture. He starts moving other people's stuff to make room for his stuff. You know what I mean? He's like, moving someone else to the other side of the plane, to the back of the one section or whatever.
I don't care for that guy.
I don't either. That guy bugs.
I don't want nobody touching my stuff.
Thank you.
That just
yeah.
And I don't like talking to people on the plane. I don't like getting in debates with it. Usually I get in the plane, pull my hat down, try to go to sleep. But one day, for some reason, I knew this guy was exactly doing that. And all of a sudden I saw him I go, whoa. Just, that stays right there. That's good right there.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. You don't know what's in there. Just don't touch it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. I'm not hiring him.
No, and how about when that guy turns around and says, "Whose is this?" Get the hell out of here. Whose is this? Right? Don't you worry about whose that is.
I had a woman say that to me one day.
Yeah.
Can you put this under your? I said, no, I checked my bag. It's gonna stay right there. Oh my God, she was pretty upset.
Yeah.
But that's why I checked my bags.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've done that before, where I check my bag, but I have a smaller suitcase. I mean, like a handheld, like my computer and stuff. And they'll ask me if I'll put that under my seat, and my answer is always no. I'm not going to put that under my seat. My suitcase is underneath the plane right now. I paid for that. I'm not going to move my briefcase. And I've had them press me on that. And I tell them, look, I've had 7, 8 knee surgeries. I can't bend my knee like that this whole trip. I'm not doing it. Here's the other thing I won't do anymore. And I'll be mad at myself if I ever cave on this. I'm never going to I'm never going to move if a parent asks me because they want to sit next to their kid. I'm not doing that anymore. That has nothing to do with hiring anybody. So I'm sorry I even said that. But
now, wait a minute. Now let's get back. I know we had a little technical difficulty.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, this is how you're going to figure out to hire somebody.
This is, I think, the ultimate test.
You're going to take them on this plane ride with you.
Yeah.
And give them an extra large suitcase that doesn't fit in the overhead.
Yes.
What if he had taken that bag and just checked it immediately? Like if you were giving me a bag And
Okay.
I would look at that bag and go, that's not gonna fit anywhere. I'm gonna check this.
Okay,
What would
stop
you
right.
have done?
Okay, so let's, first of all, I would give it to him where it looks like it could probably fit. If it's obvious it's not going to fit, it won't work. But
Right.
to your point, my next question is, why are you going to check this? It's going to cost $50 to check it. What's your answer? What's your answer?
Let's fly Southwest, and then it's
No,
two
it's late.
bags
We
for
are, we
free.
already got, we're here. I got the
Two
tickets in
bags
my
for
hand.
free.
I
All right.
got my ticket in my hand.
All right, then I'll carry it on. I won't check.
No, you caved. That was the right, you were going down the right road. That would have been the right answer. You would have said, I think this isn't going to fit based on my past experience. I think it makes more sense if we check this. Are you okay with that? You
Check
would've-
it. Ask you if it's okay to pay to check the bag.
Yes, because it doesn't look like it's going to fit.
So I almost got hired.
Yeah, I was so close, Rob.
I almost got hired.
Yeah,
by you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But tell me that's not a great test. Isn't that a great test?
That's a test of insanity. That's what that is.
Why?
That's what you're basing everything on, huh?
Everything.
Yeah.
Tell me there. Okay. Um,
I listen, when it comes to hiring, who knows what works?
this
Seriously.
works.
What's that?
This works.
Is that how you're gonna do it?
I think from now on, this is the test.
And that's all he has to do. Or she. That's all they have to do.
In a nutshell, yes.
That's
There's
it.
there's nothing to prepare for. If you're, okay, this could be work for anything, but if you're in sales, you should already know how to answer any typical sales question that gets thrown at you. But this is the real test. All right.
Okay. Did you dream this one up yourself?
I was sitting in a plane watching some clown. I think he did all four of these before he gave up. No, there's another option. Another option is to give it to the airline stewardess and say, hey, I'm sorry, this doesn't fit. I'm not sure what to do with it. Not sure I would hire that guy either. The only flaw in my plan is I don't think I'd hire anybody. I don't think any of these guys would make me happy, or gals. So
yeah,
unless they did what you said.
I'm not sure if I want the job anymore though. When you go, come on, you don't know me, I don't know you. We're gonna take a short trip to Boise. So thank you, but there's lots of jobs out there. Unemployment just hit 3.6 today. I don't think I need to. This is kind of scary.
Well, there's my test.
We hired a guy, and of course we're not going to get into names, this, that, and the other thing. And I spent 4 hours with this guy. He seemed, awesome. I thought, yeah, this is it. This is the guy, And he just wasn't the guy. Matter of fact, what's that?
And but in the 4 hours, you determined that, okay, this is the guy?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. 4 hour. It wasn't a half hour. It was 4 hours. I mean, we went from lunch almost to dinner, Thought that I had to, I thought this was the guy.
Listen.
And the amount of mistakes that I made when I look back at that, I didn't talk to any of the distributors that he dealt with. I didn't look at his social media. I just based it on that 4 hour and telling everybody, this is the guy, man, this is it. And then when I started after the hire and we started talking to distributors and started looking at his social media and everything, I was like, this could be the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. So I don't think you can get enough background on people. I think if I had asked for his what do they call that? What's that part of it?
Resume?
Not the resume.
Background check?
Nah, when you're asking, hey, let me talk to your buddies.
Oh, he references.
References, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to interview every reference from now on too. It was crazy.
I remember that hire, and I remember what you told me right after you interviewed with him.
Let's not even go there. Okay?
Oh, I remember
let's-
exactly what you said.
If you want to, you can pull your bell out. All right, I'll say. I'll say it.
Yeah, go ahead and see what you said about the guy. I remember it like it was yesterday.
I called Wayne and I said, "This is going to be the next Wayne Highlander."
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yep. You said it was like talking to a younger you.
Yes.
I mean, he's exactly like you, what you said. And
Yeah.
how insulted I felt afterwards. And I kept it to myself.
Wow. Hey, I was wrong, you were right.
Yep.
But you remember Nico?
Yes.
You remember Nico, the kid in training?
Yeah.
Awesome kid. I mean, it's one of the best kids I ever worked with. They're all great. Nico was great. Okay. And I remember talking to Nico about it. Now, Nico is he's a therapist. He's a licensed therapist.
Mm-hmm.
He does therapy on the side. He's got like a side hustle and he does, therapy.
Wait a minute. He's a therapist on the side?
Yes.
I'm not sure I would hire a therapist on the side.
Well,
I mean, I love Nico. I do.
Hear you. Yeah.
But I'm not going to
I thought that was kind of a cool side hustle. And I said, therapy on the side. He goes, yeah, I was, when I got out of college and I was a therapist, I was working at a hospital and the hospital wanted me to see 70 people a week or whatever the number was. And he
said, like 40 hours in a week.
He goes, it was crazy. He goes, you can't help hundreds of people a week. And he goes, the part that he liked about therapy was, just having a couple of clients or a couple of clients, patients. I don't know what you want to call them.
I don't know what they call them.
And really helping just a couple. So he was doing therapy on the side. He left Bona, he's in the financial world now and everything. Anyways, so here's a guy who he's got scruples, right? He knows what makes people tick. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking to him and I said, I just can't believe how wrong I was about this guy. And he said, he was the only person out there who said, listen, don't beat yourself up about this. He goes, he talked to 5 people before he talked to you. And all 5 of those people were telling him not to be himself. They were telling him, make sure you don't do this. Make sure you don't do that. He goes, job interviews you're getting, they're like politicians.
It's like a first date. Yeah.
It's a first date. It's I'm running for governor type thing. I'm going to be your best friend.
Yeah.
He goes, the job interview was the absolute. He goes, you're just not going to really see that person. So I felt much better, but I still not about the whole the next Wayne Highlander thing.
You know how you could have avoided that whole thing? You could have gave him the suitcase test. Do you know something?
Come on, you're taking a trip with me. Where are we going? I ain't telling you. It's just you and me, though.
And knowing him now, I know he would have failed big time. Now that we know him more.
We can't really go too deep into this.
No, I know.
We just got to scratch the surface of it.
Yeah, yes.
But now I took with what Nico told me, and I remember sitting with D. We're talking to another guy, and I remember sitting with D, and I said, "What about can we bring this guy to the class? Can I, ask him to come to the class for a couple of days?" And I go, maybe you could fool me for 4 hours, but I guarantee you're not going to fool me for 2 days.
Yeah. Well, 2 things.
And of course, that's where we met Robbie Smith. Okay.
We couldn't have come out any better.
Couldn't have come out any better.
Yeah.
And he came up, spent 2 days at the school, and I was just like, now I'm the smartest guy in the world, having this
Yeah,
guy come
yeah,
up,
yeah.
right? Did I ever tell you the first thing that he did though? The
No,
very first? I said, I was staying at the Hampton Inn in Monroe. I said, meet me down in the lobby. Okay. Meet me down in the lobby. I said, he came in kind of late and I was having supper. I said, yeah, I'll eat in the lobby and we can talk. And so I'm down in the lobby and I'm watching a Bruins game. Everybody knows I'm a big Bruin fan. Hockey game's on. So I'm watching the Bruin game. Never tell this guy that I'm watching a Bruin game. He walks in and he's wearing a Bruins hat.
wow.
Right. So I said, would somebody tell you, oh, Rob's a big Bruin fan, wear a hat and you get the job? I go, that's pretty lame. He doesn't say a word, right? Doesn't say a word, kind of looking at me like I was a jackass already. He pulls up his sleeve and he's got a Boston Bruin tattoo on his arm.
No kidding.
He's got the Spoke B tattoo on his arm. And I'm
Wow.
like, all right, you're a
You're
bigger fan
hired.
than I am. I don't have one of those.
That's
You're
pretty cool.
hired already. That's it. Interview's over.
You did
So
great.
we hung out that night. We're eating, we're watching the game and everything. Finally, I look at him. I go, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work. You're a son. You remind me too much of my kid. You're a punk. And he goes, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know if I can work. You remind me too much of my dad. I don't think this is gonna work out.
I actually think I'll be an extraordinary therapist. I have great emotional intelligence. I would love to be a therapist. I would almost do it for free. In fact, that might be something I look into one day. Being a therapist.
The whole world now is always looking for side hustles.
Never thought of it as a side hustle. I still don't know if I'd hire a therapist who was doing it on the side.
No way. Think about it. It's not a bad idea. You're only seeing a couple of people. You're constantly thinking about them.
Yeah, but well, okay. All right.
I know you're
Yeah.
how many patients do you think you could help a week? I can't wait to hear this one.
I could go through 3 a day and manage 3 a day.
3 a day.
Yeah. I'd be expensive though. All right. So
I can see you actually as a therapist. I definitely could see that. All right, Wayne, this is too many stories here. We're running short.
okay.
You got one question.
Mhm.
I know you're going to do your plane flight. And I think that's
Yeah.
actually, the more I'm thinking about the plane flight, the more I think that could be a pretty funny movie, actually. But
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
we'll take that out someplace else.
Yeah.
You got one question to ask your candidate. What's it going to be?
Okay. I got one question to ask whoever I'm going to hire. This is my one question.
This is it.
It's quite simply, if I was running a floor company or any other job, my one question would be, why are you the best candidate for the job? That's my question.
Okay.
How about you? You got a question you would ask? I will say this. Go ahead and answer my question, and then I'll tell you my.
I would like to know how, especially coming on board, how do you handle stress?
Okay.
And I want a real, how do you handle stress?
Okay.
Not the textbook.
Okay. You don't want a real one.
I want the real one. I want
You-
the guy to say, I drink a half a bottle of Jack Daniels every night. Okay, good. As long as I
Yeah.
know that.
Okay. All right. Let me tell you something. When you do hire somebody, I have rules that I've learned along the way. Okay. I'm going to tell you what they are. And when you hire somebody, because when you do hire somebody, it's especially if you're wanting to work out, whatever, you want the guy, but you really may not want to tell him it's going to be as hard as it is or whatever, or you're that much of a hard ass so you don't scare the guy away. Here's my rules. Okay. And I wrote them down. 1, don't pretend commands are not commands. Don't suggest or ask, just be straight. So in other words, if I tell you that I mean, you got to do it this way every single time. This is what I want out of you. I want them to know right away. So don't pretend they're suggestions. I want this. This is what I want. Okay. With employees. Number 2, create clear expectations. I think that this has to be done up front with your employees when you're hiring somebody to get it out from right now, and don't try to work it in as they go along. Okay. 3, make agreements. And I think that's important even as you go along with somebody. Look, here's what I need from you. Okay. Are you able to give me this? Or let's get this out of the way right now and figure out how we're going to come to an agreement here. Number 4, use dates and deadlines. If I'm going to train somebody, I'm going to give him a time frame that I want. Here from 3 months from now, I want you to be able to do this. 6 months from now, this. 9 months from now, this is what I want, where he wants you to be. Okay. And then the last one is get their thinking first. Instead of always saying, hey, I want you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you, okay, scrape the corners now. I need you to go edge that room right there. I've got a lot more value out of saying, what do you think we should do? And tell me why. Now, I'm not doing all the thinking all the time now. I mean, I'm inviting this guy into the process. And I think that's important. It empowers him. It stops making me like, nothing worse than if you got here's a bad sign too. If you have an apprentice that doesn't anticipate what the next step is, that's a problem to me, right? If you're an apprentice, if you're working with a journeyman, you should always start anticipating what the next step is, rather than having to be told every time what the next step is. So those are my rules that I've learned.
One little one on top of that one though. The journeyman has got to tell him that, though. I think the journeyman's got to say, listen, I want you to figure out what's coming up. I want you to do that. Okay.
I agree.
If the journeyman doesn't tell him that, he's going to be scared to death. He's going to do something wrong and, piss somebody off.
Yeah. No, I completely.
The journeyman's got to, he can't just sit there thinking, why isn't this kid doing it? Well, you haven't said it to him. You haven't told him that's what you're expecting.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But like on 3 months in,
right.
Yeah. 3 months, 3 months in though.
3 months in, no. I'm throwing
Yeah.
something at you now.
Yeah, 3 months in, I shouldn't have to be tell you that.
Right.
Exactly right. What? 3 months in, I shouldn't have to tell you how to roll up the cord again, or that the cord needs rolling up now. By now you start to see the flow. You know what I mean? And there's another thing that I hate, I despise, and it's what I call false hustle. Like, we need to scrape these closets, right? The corners. It's not about now taking out the light bags of stuff out to the van. That's not the show. That's not the job. That's easy stuff, right? That's not the job. The job is these closets right now. So how about we get in there and do this, and then we'll carry these like bags of visqueen or whatever, or plastic out to the van. So anyhow, there you go. There's our hiring people. It was an absurd episode of hodgepodge of crap. But
it can't all be home runs.
But in there's some
very single up the middle.
You know what though? In there's some very good information, and I'm dead serious about. I'm dead serious about the plane flight thing.
It's going to be their job to dissect through it and find those little nuggets.
There you go. All right.
Wow, we said that at the same time. Nuggets.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. It's been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned. I don't know why you wouldn't, for another episode.